Hey everyone, if you're new to the channel, my name is Jamie and I'm a 16-year-old content creator with a passion for tech, photography and productivity. In this video, I'll compare the reading experience of reading with a Kindle compared to reading with an iPad. I've used both pretty extensively and I'll be giving you my thoughts on them. Firstly, I'll give you an upfront conclusion, then I'll give you a brief rundown of the features, then I'll be comparing the convenience, then I'll compare the reading experience, I'll then compare content creation versus content consumption, and then I'll compare the capabilities, helping you to decide which one is the best for you. Here's my upfront conclusion. The reading experience of a Kindle is far superior than the reading experience of the iPad, just because it's smaller and lighter and has less friction, in addition to the e-ink display, which is a real game changer for my reading, as I can read for hours on end without feeling eye strain like on the iPad, and it doesn't emit blue lights, so it's better for my sleep. Because of this, I've been able to read more books. I also think the iPad is great for some users in its own respect, because of the ease of note-taking and greater capabilities being able to annotate textbooks, and I think it's great for some consumers. Here's a brief rundown of the tech specs of the devices that I'm comparing. I'm going to be comparing the Kindle Paperwhite 4, which costs about $130 US, but I've seen it for about $80 on Amazon Prime Day, and the iPad Air 4, which has a 10.9-inch display, and it's the mid-range iPad, and it costs $600 USD. Firstly, let's compare the convenience of reading with an iPad compared to reading with a Kindle. Both devices are pretty convenient to carry around because they're small, light, and portable. However, the Kindle is quite a lot smaller and lighter and portable than the iPad. Because of this, it's a lot easier to bring around with me, and I'm more inclined to take it out of my bag and read. As a result, I've read quite a lot more with the Kindle than when I was reading with my iPad. Also, because the Kindle is a lot lighter, I can hold it in one hand while I'm reading, rather than having to use two hands or have to place it on my lap with the iPad. Let's compare the reading experience of the Kindle to the iPad. This is the real defining factor in my comparison between these two devices. The Kindle uses an e-ink display. Contrastingly, the iPad uses just a standard LCD display. I really love the e-ink display of the Kindle, because it is far nicer to read with, it doesn't strain my eyes, and it doesn't emit blue light, so it is better for my sleep. Contrastingly, the display of the iPad is fine. Sure, it's bright, colorful, and vibrant, but for reading, this doesn't really matter. I found it to be worse for reading, as if I'm reading for a long period of time, I'd often get eye strain. It also emits blue light, so I think it would disrupt my sleep. On the other hand, because the iPad has quite a lot larger display, it is nicer to read with larger text. I can have more stuff on a page. Another important factor in my comparison between the reading experience of an iPad to a Kindle is certainly consumption versus creation. The iPad is a very capable device, and you can do so much more than just read a book like on the Kindle. With the iPad, it's a lot easier to do note-taking and annotations to your books, especially if you're reading non-fiction. I found that the iPad is just a lot nicer to read with, as I can do lots of highlighting and note-taking to the book. Also, with the Apple Pencil, I can do annotations to PDFs like a textbook, or take color-coded notes, whereas with Kindle, there's just more friction to it, and it's not as nice, it's just not as capable. If you're just trying to consume books, the Kindle is far superior, but if you're trying to make notes on them and do anything more than just simple reading, you should read with the iPad. But in my opinion, I don't really think that note-taking on books really matters that much. I used to do a lot of that when I was using my iPad and my Apple Pencil, but I found it didn't really impact my retention, and I just mindlessly highlight stuff without really thinking about what I was highlighting or ever looking back through my highlights. Another thing to compare between the iPad and the Kindle are the capabilities. With the Kindle, it's a device designed for only reading. You can only really read books with it through reading on the Kindle itself or listening to audiobooks. Contrastingly, the iPad is so much more capable. You can do so many things on it. You can browse the web, you can play games, you can do productivity, you can do photo editing, video editing, take photos, pretty much anything. So sure, the Kindle is less capable, but it doesn't mean it's a worse reading device. I actually think that its less capabilities make it a better reading device, as I'm less distracted. When I used to read on my iPad, I found myself getting pretty easily distracted. And it's pretty much the equivalent of just reading on your phone. I would get distracted and I would just endlessly browse Reddit and social media rather than reading books. Contrastingly, on the Kindle you can only read, and this has really eliminated the distractions to my reading and has allowed me to read with more comprehension and be more immersed in the books that I read. I'm also able to read a lot more as I'm not wasting my time being distracted rather than reading. The extent of my distraction from reading is best exemplified when I first got my Kindle and I was trying to like press where the home button normally is to like access Reddit and access YouTube and be distracted instead of reading books, which I found a little bit less stimulating than browsing social media. So in conclusion, I think that reading with a Kindle is a far superior experience for most readers who just like to consume books, as it has far less friction to reading as it's small, light and portable. It has a nicer reading experience because of the 8-inch display, which is less straining on the eyes and doesn't disrupt your sleep. The iPad is also a great device for some other readers who like to do more note-taking of non-fiction books and like to annotate and like to scribble all over their books. Also, the iPad does have some more capabilities, but it can be more distracting in some cases. Thanks for watching everyone. If you like what you see, please comment, like and subscribe because I put a lot of effort into these videos. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!